Art of the Rhyme here from Get Over It Media. This is the War on Trump Part 7. Now, before we get into it, let's go over a few definitions. First word, war. A state of armed conflict between different nations or states or different groups within a nation or state. The war that we are currently embroiled in is taking place in the political arena. Someone once said that war is politics with blood, and that politics is war without blood. So on one hand, we are in an information war. On the other hand, we're in a spiritual battle. That's a separate video for a separate time. Now, it's been often said that the first casualty in any conflict or war is the truth. Now, if the left has their way, the First Amendment will also become a casualty. I've done several videos explaining about the First Amendment. The First Amendment is not just about being able to say what you want to say or go to the church that you want to go to. It is about the ability to express thoughts and ideas. In other words, the First Amendment is really about the right to be, the right to self. That's what they're after on the left. They want to dictate and determine what you can be. Now, it's also an information war, so let's get back to some definitions. Next word actually, misleading. Giving the wrong idea or impression. Misleading. Giving the wrong idea or impression. Information. Facts provided or learned about something or someone. Propaganda. Information, especially of a biased or misleading nature, used to promote or publicize a particular political cause or point of view. So then, misleading information is when you have either incorrect facts, you are distorting facts, or you are misrepresenting the facts so as to give the wrong idea or impression about someone or something. So in other words, at best, you're just simply wrong. At worst, you are outright lying. Let's get back to the events of January 6th. They're calling it an investigation into a conspiracy. So, in other words, they don't want it to be categorized as an isolated event where things got out of hand because of a few individuals. They want it to be seen as organized and well-funded. Why? Because that suggests that there's the potential for more attacks. In other words, the existential threat remains. And because it remains, that threat and the group that embodies and poses that threat must be neutralized and controlled. And as a result, there must be a federal response. In other words, laws must be enacted. What they are doing, they are using language, laws, and the language of laws to further their political views and agenda. Government is actively engaged in propaganda against a segment of its citizens called conservatives. And what's interesting about that is Joseph Goebbels in Nazi Germany, he was over the Ministry of Propaganda. And one of the departments that he was over was the administration of law. In other words, the goal is to make it illegal for your enemy to even exist, let alone carry out their day-to-day functions and activities and objectives. Now, let's take a quick look at Charlottesville. Why? Because Charlottesville was a misinformation campaign. You'll notice how they misrepresented Trump's statement, the statement about verifying people. That was intentionally misleading. And they made it appear as if he was calling white supremacists verifying people. Now remember, Trump is a trope. So by saying he supports white supremacy, they're saying that by extension, it's because he's a racist himself. He's a white supremacist. And then by further extension, they're saying that those who support him are supporting white supremacists. Why? Because they're racist and they're also white supremacists. You got to watch how the game is being played. It's just all guilt by association. And they took his statement out of context. And what was interesting is when I showed some people the unedited video and the unredacted transcript, and I only had one person respond out of all the people I showed. They just simply doubled down or ignored it. Only one person came back to me, and that person hated Trump. And they were outraged and angry at the media. Listen, not so much because the media lied on Trump, but because the media lied to him. I need you to get the distinction and the nuance. So much that they lied on Trump. He was mad because they lied to him. He saw that he was being manipulated. They were playing with his emotions. You ever saw the movie Friday? You know the danger of playing with somebody's emotions. Shout out to Big Worm. So again, in my opinion, his response was the appropriate response. And his anger was placed where it deserved to be placed. I remember when I would hear early in Trump's administration, the president said da da da, and I was like, oh my goodness, wow. And then I would come to find out that he never really said that. They took it out of context. It was purposely misleading. It was propaganda. It just reached a point where I would automatically give Trump the benefit of the doubt until I researched it and I heard it for myself. Give you another example. When they're talking about the emotion of anger. Y'all remember the children in cages storyline? Now, do you know how many people were outraged when they found out that Trump was putting children in cages? Virtually everyone. However, when they found out that Obama did the same thing, and he started it, and that all the photos that the media was using, again, misleading, they saw the photos that were being used, that they belonged to Obama, practically no one was as upset with Obama as they was with Trump. Now, why is that? It's because of association. Remember, we just talked about guilt by association. So if you're associating Obama's acts with Trump's, then you have to acknowledge either that Trump is not as bad as you thought, or Obama is worse than you thought. Listen, if you were outraged at Trump for putting children in cages, yet you weren't outraged with Obama, that's a statement about you. On the other hand, if you do associate Obama's actions with Trump's, that's a statement about Obama. Most people weren't willing to do that because they would have to change their position about Trump. And if you weren't as equally outraged at Obama, then it's fake outrage. It's not even real anger. I remember hearing some people say that, oh, well, Obama did it more humanely. Well, it wasn't as bad when Obama did it. Okay, based on what? What are you making that assessment based on? Making it based on the halo effect and cognitive dissonance. Again, that's a statement about you, not Obama, or about Trump even. On TikTok, there was one young lady who, she was Latino, and she was outraged, but she went to the border to see for herself, and she found out how the media was lying, how those children would be treated with respect and with care. They're being treated very humanely and very well. But the media, again, more propaganda. Listen, I'm not even defending Trump. I'm trying to show you how the game is being played, how you're being manipulated. You don't have to like Trump, but you do need to see through the lies. For example, the Oprah Winfrey documentary, When They See Us. It was a hit piece. It was nothing but pure propaganda. They wanted to use it to stir up emotion and anger against Trump. Because you got to remember, Ken Burns has just done a documentary on the Central Park Five in 2012, and that documentary tells you everything that you really need to know. Documentary by Oprah, When They See Us, nothing but a hit piece. Strictly propaganda. And notice when it came out too, just before the election, maybe about a year before the election. Designed to stir up fake outrage. Listen, because people are saying they were wrongly accused, allegedly, and that they were falsely imprisoned. Okay, well, there are other people going through that right now who haven't been exonerated. Where's your outrage for them? Trump asked for a list, and yet I don't think he got any names other than from Kim Kardashian and maybe a few other names. No one else brought him a list. Why? Because if he gets them out, you got to change your position. So they would rather let people stay in jail than to say that Trump is not that bad. So back to Charlottesville. Left got a lot of mileage out of Charlottesville. They are now getting a lot of mileage out of the staged event known as January 6th.